What's up, everybody? Paul here with Joey and Jordan. It's currently 1 a.m. because Jordan's an absolute simp and didn't get around 11:30 like we said. But whatever. All
I had some business.
all faults out the window.
I had to
But
catch up with,
better not happen
obviously.
again. Content
Such
might be
cap.
uploaded by sometime next year. But hey, before we start, stock market, GameStop, dude. Everyone's been talking about it. Every podcast, every YouTube video, every news channel, ripping through GameStop.
To the moon, baby.
Give
To
me
the
give me your
moon.
opinions. What are we
So now
thinking
let me
about
ask you a
this?
question. Let me ask you a question because I've obviously I've seen something going on. I'm a little like I don't know if behind is the word about like everything and like why it's all happening. So a Reddit was posted about someone literally just saying, "Buy these."
Wall
Everybody bought
Street bets,
them.
baby. Diamond
So
hands.
basically, it's this account. This is what I know about it. Very limited information. I know it's this account on Reddit that basically 2 million people before this followed like pretty good stocks. Like they would release information and be like, "Oh, dude, like this is the next one up." Blah blah blah. But in this scenario, they were like, they can't stop a whole crowd of people trying to go like basically overthrow the suits. That's what they've been calling them. Overthrow
Right.
the suits on a stock because they've been betting against GameStop, but now that GameStop is on the come up, like because they were
Yeah.
buying so much of it, and that's what
That
happened. Then it just flipped, and then the suits lost a lot of money, and they were gaining a lot of money because of the suits had to keep buying stocks.
there's a reason why it was like it was almost like a genius move, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So Wall Street bets, super weirdo, not even weird, just like really like deep Reddit forum. Like they had like a super loyal like fan base. Like no one really knew about them, like whatever, except the people on the forum, obviously. And they have like their daily discussions, this and that, like a daily thread. And then they were like, all right, like whatever. They looked up how many stocks are like shorted or like what stocks are the most shorted. GameStop pops up, dude. All these hedge funds, these big companies, multi-billionaire company, like whatever, all these big people, big heads, they're shorting the stock because it's normal brick and mortar. Who goes to GameStop? When was the last time you've been to a GameStop in the last 5 years? Have you
No,
been
it's
to
been a
GameStop?
while.
Yeah. Like no one goes. So they're like, okay, obviously the stock's gonna go down. So they're betting on it to go down. And then all these whatever, like Reddit nerds, they take offense to that. They love their GameStop. So they were like, whatever. Screw these guys. It was like a big basically FU stock. And because of all these positions that these big companies have like invested into this stock. So if they short it, they put down like X amount of money.
Mhm.
And then at a certain date and time, if it executes, they buy all of those shares for the price that they're like predicting it to go. It's the same thing. Like it's just all the call options of Jordan and
As
I've
you
been
said,
over
it's
this
a call
before.
option. Yeah.
And then they take the difference as profit from what they put down. So like, let's say they put down 10 grand and the price of all the stocks that they were going to buy in GameStop falls to 5 grand, then that extra 5 grand is profit. Like it's pocketed cash, whatever. Um, but because it's like a binding contract, when the price goes up, they lose money, but they would lose almost all of their money if they don't buy more shares of it when that contract is up. So all these contracts are probably spread out over a year. Whatever, the last one's expired Friday. So the more that the stock price goes up, then all of these big, super massive hedge funds and stuff, they just have to keep buying the stock because they don't want to lose all of their money. So they're trying to like cut their losses.
And
Insane.
basically,
Absolutely nuts.
for instance, if 100 kids were to go out and say, "All right, let's all spend $1,000 on this stock," right? That was probably going to go down. They're going to lose. You know what I'm saying? They're going to lose. But if 100
Mhm.
suits were going to go out, this is the big problem that's been going on all week. A, everybody kind of agrees that the way the stock was like manipulated, they kind of agree that this is wrong, but it's the rules. Like that's how it works. So anything that's how you can make money. And if that happens, like you can't, and that's why when Robinhood shut down trading, that's just not allowed. You can't change the rules overnight when you start
Yeah,
losing money.
you can't manipulate the market like that. That was why everyone was so ticked off because like whatever, big wigs, all these hedge funds, the suits, Dave Portnoy, Barstool, whatever, he started that whole thing. They didn't really do anything wrong either. They were just making money. Like that's their job. Like all these companies are taking other people's
Exactly.
funds, whoever's investing in these funds, taking that money and putting it in smart places. And at the time, that was like a real whatever. It was like a really smart money move. Like they're shorting a stock of a company that is almost entirely irrelevant as of this year. You know what I mean?
Explain
But
to
then
me
all
what it
these
means to
people-
short a stock.
That's like how I was just explaining. Like you put 10 grand in, you want it to go down, so you take the difference from it because you can buy the stocks really, really cheap. If it goes down, you buy the stocks at that price, whatever.
Right.
But when it goes up, they lose their money, and all the average Joes, incredible gains, whatever. That's like to the moon, money hands or diamond hands. I buy into it. I think that it's low key a horrible investment, but at the same time, it's a super easy way to make money.
Right.
I think you put whatever a couple grand into GameStop like a year ago when it was riding at like a couple bucks. All right. And then you look at it a year, it's like whatever, it's like 430, 450, touching 500. Like people became millionaires in the matter of like a couple days off of one stock.
Right.
But they're all holding it. So like it's almost like they don't care. Like, I don't know. I'm part of Wall Street Bets now because I thought it was interesting. Jumped on that forum. Dude, all the messages that I see is like, everyone's holding. Like no one's selling. Like if you sell, like whatever, you're irrelevant, you're almost. I don't know. And it went from a couple 100,000 people on this page, dude, to in a week they have like 6 million subscribers or like active users on this Reddit page. That's insane. Imagine 6 million people, 2 million people in that entire forum are investing in this Reddit or in GameStop, and then everyone else around the world is investing in it. It's insane. It's like this whole social.
The biggest problem is with that is like there's always going to be those couple of guys like it got up to 400. They're sitting there saying, "Dude, it's time to sell." Like I would understand like everybody saying, "Let's do it. Like let's stand strong." That's not going to happen. It got up to 400. It never happens like this. Some people are going to sell, and then it's just going to keep going down. I'm emotionally and mentally invested in this. Financially, I haven't spent a penny. I don't think I'm going to spend a penny. So you guys have your fun, do your thing. But I don't have any income, so I'm not going to spend what money I do have or what very little income I do have on stocks right now, like especially with who knows what's going on. I mean, it's so hard to read and predict, so I'm just chilling out. Mutual funds are the way.
Between the three of us, we've invested a little bit. Jordan and I are the only ones really investing right now. We are in no way, shape, or form any type of like financial,
not even close,
guru advisor type thing. We're pretty honestly, we're pretty bad at investing in certain cases because we pull it at the wrong times. We put money in at the wrong times, but you know, it's all part of it. It's more fun than anything.
If anyone listening knows what they're talking about and like would love to give us some, some tips, that'd be fantastic.
That'd be amazing.
For real.
Because let me tell you, I have no idea what's going on.
I will put my money wherever you guys tell me to, as long as like I read it and understand it in 2 minutes. But if it's 3 minutes, I'm out, dude.
No, Paul, I just hit yesterday. I was looking at my Robinhood. I officially, since I started my account, I've made $1,000.
Good luck touching that money.
But see, that's pretty tough, honestly. Yeah, dude, you got to get out of Robinhood. I don't know what you do. Even if they come out of this alive and kicking somehow.
Explain to me why that, though. Explain to me why actually out of Robinhood.
Okay, so basically, they got that class action lawsuit filed against them. Right. They're down bad. The entire internet, the entire world hates them because they were the first company to come out and be like, all right. And by the way, this is completely wrong. They said that certain securities and stocks on their platform were not available for all transactions. But the way that they could have done this is they could have completely halted trading, buying and selling, or calling options, all this type of stuff in general. But what they chose to do is they disallowed like the buying of certain stocks. So that would be like your AMC, that'd be GameStop, obviously, Nokia, BlackBerry, all these like the Reddit stocks, basically, that people were talking about the entire week. And like the night before, everything was going to pop because that was when everyone knew about it. And the next morning was going to be insane. They basically pulled the plug on any type of buying securities on there, but they still allowed you to liquidate your shares or like to sell it. So basically, if all these people, if it goes down 5%, they're going to be like, whatever, I can't buy anymore. So they're just going to start selling. And then everyone starts panic selling because everything's going down. Mm-hmm. And that is exactly what all the super big wig hedge funds and money managers and all that stuff they wanted, because when the stock goes down, they make more money off of it.
So
they entirely manipulated the market in that regard. That's illegal. Like you can't do that.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard that other people did that too. It wasn't just Robinhood.
Yes. Webull, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade did it for like in a weird way. Like you couldn't buy and sell as much, but they didn't limit that. Webull had some limited transactions. TD Ameritrade had limited transactions.
So why is Robinhood getting so much backlash?
Because Robinhood,
it's a
they're the
free
first ones to do
market.
it. Yeah, like you can't do that in any way, shape, or form.
Like Robinhood doesn't have like fees attached. Robinhood basically, like the whole concept, Robinhood, like the movies and stuff, like take from the rich, give to the poor, blah blah blah. It's so that the little guy can make money off of stocks. Like their big thing is you can buy a stock for as little as this much and still like get percent growth, blah blah blah. But if they freeze it just because the little guy got right, then.
And another thing that like it's not even necessarily that, it's just that like all of these on your phone apps, like trading platforms like Robinhood, Webull, E-Trade, all that stuff. None of those are actual like they're brokerages, but they're not actual like direct contact with the stock market. They have these things called trading houses behind them. So these transactions that go on in the platform, they have to have like the capital or like the means to upfront those transactions, and then they send it to these big trading houses, which are like the behind the scenes, like whatever, the guy behind the curtain, like in Wizard of Oz. So what everyone's saying is that it really wasn't Robinhood's fault entirely, because it was more than likely the people behind the scenes who were like, listen, they would call them up and they'd be like, you can't, like, we're like, you are not allowed to have tells them this, or they would just whatever, not support their platform, not do this and that, which that's all on the CEOs. I think there's 2 co-CEOs of Robinhood. That's entirely they're wrong, because whatever, they could have said, screw it, kick rocks. They didn't have to do it, but they did because they were trying to save face with their big investors or whoever's behind all of that.
So basically my question is now, Paul, so for me, I don't know if Jordan, you've spent any money on this, but my question is now, if you're just listening to this podcast, say this podcast gets uploaded on Monday, boom, crazy, like we're covering the stock drop. You're hearing us on Monday for the first time, and things have still going crazy. No, really don't know how to read it. What are you doing when you wake up Monday? The market opens at 9:30. What are you doing on Monday morning when you wake up to continue on?
Any of these Reddit stocks are like probably some of the worst investments you could make as far as like gains. But at the same time, if you have the money to spend and you're willing, this is gambling. This is just straight up betting. This is what everyone has been saying. If you have like a couple $100, couple $1,000 even that you just want to toss into this, it'll be the same as going to a casino, throwing everything on black or red. That's exactly what this is, because it can go either way. GameStop is the one that obviously has the most to lose or the most to gain, because that's the main one that everyone's buying into. But it's also whatever, a couple $100 a share. I forget the price of it. It's like
300 something.
Yeah, like it fluctuates like $100 a day every trading day, even after all this happened. But what I did is that I didn't buy into GameStop, because at this point I feel like whatever, even if they go up another couple $100, I kind of missed it. You're not going to make like crazy gains on it unless you have a whole bunch of money to invest that you're not worried about. I invested in Nokia because they're like a fairly stable stock to begin with, because like whatever, Nokia, they're not really going away. It's like I bought them at like $5 a share, put a couple $100 into it. I bought into Naked Juice because they're $2 a share. Those would be, in my opinion, like the smarter way to kind of toss your money in, because whatever, you're not going to lose a whole lot. At the same time, these companies are kind of cemented. But with GameStop, they could go all the way back down to $10 a share. You'd lose everything. You'd lose almost every penny you put in there.
100% true. That's what I've been thinking. I've been thinking like, say I dropped a band, I'm dropping $1,000 on GameStop stock. I get 3 shares, and then they go back down to 10. And all of a sudden I'm at $30, and I'm just sitting here like, all right, well, that failed.
All of your money. Same thing with AMC, because a lot of people are buying into AMC, but I don't know if that's smart either. Because back when, before the whole pandemic thing was kind of coming out and COVID this, COVID that, I had a good bit of AMC. Like I had like probably like 40, 50 shares, something like that. It was fairly generic. I think it was because I got my first free stock on like Robinhood or something as AMC. So I just kept buying it. But then they went from like $7 to like $3 or something like that. So then once they went back up to $7, I just sold, because Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, all these streaming platforms, like I haven't been to the movies in 2 years. And it's a cool thing to like invest in, I guess, but I don't see them really having too much upside potential. You know what I mean? Because eventually the movie theaters are going to die out. Like that's just the fact. One way or another, movie theaters are going to be replaced by something bigger and better. and more advanced.
I saw I actually ended up, it's funny, I bought 2 or 3 shares of AMC when it was really low because it was in the news again it was like Amazon was buying it, like they were in negotiations to buy it. I don't know how far that went, but I feel like there's still something there. This is kind of off topic, but in the movie industry, I feel like there's still something there to almost invest in AMC because I still feel like there's potential. I don't know what happened to drive-in movies. That still seems, especially with COVID now, I feel like that's a great concept.
Are gone, dude.
Why?
I love drive-ins, to be honest.
I do too. I think it's more of like to me, it seems like a classic. Like,
yeah, no,
I would
100%.
love to.
Mm-hmm. I would love to do that all the time if I could.
But the nearest one to me is 50 minutes away.
See, that's the thing. There are 2 drive-ins like really close. Like I could go to either one of them with less than like a 30-minute drive or whatever. And like they're really cool to go to over the summer. But the problem with drive-ins is that they don't make any money really off of like their ticket sales and stuff. Like it's almost entirely from their concession, or at least the ones around here. I don't know, because like they always show this little disclaimer and they're like, oh, like, and then they had this like really depressing number of how many drive-ins are like actually left in the United States. It's shockingly low. Like I think it's in like the thousands or like maybe even upper hundreds. I don't know.
But how does that make sense? How do they not make money? If you're displaying a movie on a screen, how does it make sense that, I guess it's harder to traffic. For a movie theater with a parking lot, you can be in and out. The next movie starts in the next 15 minutes. But for a drive-in, I guess you can't do that as well. But a well-structured drive-in, I feel like, could really make money.
Yeah. Well, it's
not me pitching you guys an idea or something, but
it's that type of thing. Like people around here, like it's like families that own drive-ins. Like they have all the stuff for it, and then they make their income for that business pretty much off of like the concession stand. Even movie theaters. Why do you think AMC popcorn is like $17 for a large popcorn? Because that's where they make most of their money. Same thing with like Sheetz and Wawa. They don't make money off their gas. They make it off their convenience store stuff inside. Like they get a fraction of whatever their gas sales are. But they're not getting that as like really hard income. It's all coming from like Sheetz, MTO. That's what makes them money.
It's like advertisements for anything.
Yeah, it's like same things with movie theaters, like ads and stuff. Like they probably make a good bit of money off of their ads. But them showing the movie doesn't really get them anything. And the next thing though, crypto. I know you two aren't super crazy into crypto. Joey more so than Jordan, but
I've been doing a good amount of, I wouldn't call it research. I'm definitely more into crypto than I was before. I know a little bit more about it, what I'm getting myself into. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to speak to you about Dogecoin, right? So that was another one that was on a Reddit forum that like gave it a little bit of popularity through that. Now, I was talking about this with someone the other day when they invested a little bit into Dogecoin, they did well for them. And they're like talking to me about like whether or not they wanted to stay in it for like a good amount of time or what they should do. I was making the argument that I think it's a very terrible long-term investment. The way I view it as, because I can be 100% wrong. Again, I explained to me this afterwards, but compared to other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum, there's a limited amount that can be mined. Like it's not unlimited, or else it would have zero value. If as much money can be printed as much as possible. I'm pretty sure
there's a market cap there's a limited number of Dogecoin because I think the mining period for them is already over.
I read somewhere that like Dogecoin is one of like the few that you can mine unlimited amount of Dogecoin.
That's crazy. I thought that they had like a cap on their amount. But anyway, keep going. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I could be wrong as well. But if it is unlimited, and I read is like correct, at some point Dogecoin is going to be completely worthless.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's like a couple thousand like verified whatever cryptocurrencies out there right now, just like all different ones. Dogecoin's I think in like the top like 30, 40 cryptocurrencies right now, just because it's been around for a while. I don't know. I invested in it as like a joke like a year ago when I like kind of was getting into cryptocurrencies. What did I do? I put like literally I think I put like $15-$30 into Dogecoin, and because I was like, oh, I put $30 in it, I can buy like 10,000 shares. And then the one day I needed an extra $8 to fill this one transaction, so I sold half of the Dogecoin, whatever, at like 0.0007, whatever, like a fraction of a penny. And when it was like came out to like $15. Well, I look at it the other day because I get a text. And it's like, look at your Dogecoin. It went from like a fraction of a penny to like 8 cents. So that $15 that I had left in Dogecoin was worth like $350. Now,
That's insane.
That's insane.
imagine if you timed that right and you bought like a couple $100s worth of Dogecoin or like a couple grand of Dogecoin and you sold it at the perfect time at like that 8.5 cents. Oh my gosh, because it'd be like hundreds of thousands of shares. Like
Do you think that
ridiculous.
Dogecoin has potential to hit $1 one day or no?
The only way that it would hit $1 is the same way that GameStop went up and hit like above 300. It would just be enough hype where people would buy in and like kind of force it to go up because it's a crypto. I mean, like that's something that's interesting, but not a lot of people can trade Dogecoin because it's not a popular coin. You can trade it on Robinhood, but everyone's getting rid of the Robinhood accounts.
If people would make, oh my gosh, we should definitely find a way to make this happen. If people could make like almost like a side world use only Dogecoin as a currency, that would just be the funniest thing. Well, I mean, what a way to like
currency.
I know you can, but like really all you're doing by trading Dogecoin right now is saying like, oh, I have this that's worth this amount of USD. You know what I'm saying? But like if somebody said like I have this amount of USD that's like this much Dogecoin, I'm only from now on, I'm only working in Dogecoin. If somebody doesn't accept Dogecoin, I'm not
crazy.
working.
It's funny. Today I was
is-
out today, I was getting food, and like I just think it's a cool concept that the world can like use cryptocurrencies to pay for things. I had no money. My PNC account was like negative at the moment. We won't talk about that, but it is. I can log into Robinhood and like, bro, like I can buy food and stuff with Bitcoin if I want to at some places.
Jordan's the stereotype for like almost every college kid in America right now. He's trying to pay for his food and he can't. His bank card done, over with.
But yeah, no, I think it's cool that I can use that kind of stuff to pay for stuff.
That's why I'm such a big fan of cryptocurrency. Just like I've been a couple months. I'd always timed Bitcoin at the wrong time, but like lately, like a couple months ago, I just told myself, whatever, I'm gonna put the money that I want to put into it, and I'm never going to sell it unless I have a really solid like conviction that I'm gonna make like a lot of gains. It's not gonna go up anymore. So I put like a couple grand into Bitcoin, couple grand into Ethereum, letting it sit there, see what happens. Because dude, by the end of 2021, the outlook for cryptocurrency is kind of crazy because there's all these price predictions and all these people like these big cryptocurrency like wizards are out there and they're like Ethereum could be $9 grand by the end of 2021. Bitcoin could go to 100 grand by the end of 20. Dude, at this point, like whatever. If it goes down a little bit, I lose a couple $100 here, lose a couple $100 there. But the potential to make so much money is insane. Right. Absolutely nuts. And Dogecoin has an argument too. Their transactions are one of the fastest. That's what I was reading the other day. It's a lot faster to buy things online with Dogecoin than it is with Bitcoin.
Yeah. So basically, looking, like I said, into this week, financially, what's the game plan going forward for you, Paul, and especially you, Jordan? Because I know Paul's done a lot of research and Paul's like been about this for the last week. But Jordan, hearing what you heard today, after Paul says what he's going to do, I'd like to hear what you have to do or are planning on doing, if anything, because I'm not going to do anything personally because it's just so like, I don't know, intimidating right now. But Paul, what are you going to
do? As far as like Monday goes?
As far as like you wake up Monday morning ready for the market to open, Doge, I don't know. I don't know because to the moon, we're not at the moon yet. So is it going to keep going up?
That's the thing. All the other stocks that I have, I'm just holding on to them because like this is such a weird market anyway. They're pretty much only going up. I don't really think some of these are gonna go down. Like I'm investing in a lot of EV, like Workhorse, Nikola. That's on kind of like Tesla's a little out there. They're up there. They're gonna keep going up, but $800 a share. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna buy anything Monday as of now. I'm gonna hold my Nokia stock. I'm gonna hold my Naked Juice stock. I'm gonna hold on to Workhorse, Virgin Galactic. I'm gonna hold on to all of that. I might put a little more into cryptocurrency because Bitcoin's ripping like 34K, 35K, and Ethereum's at like 1,300, 1,400. I told myself a couple weeks ago that anytime Bitcoin or Ethereum is under 37,000 and 1,500 respectively is a buy because the upside potential from there is insane because whatever, Ethereum to $9 grand, 1.5 grand to $9 grand is insane. And then Bitcoin from 35,000 to 37,000 to 100,000. I don't know. Upside potential. Chainlink's another one that I've been looking into too. That's a whole different topic, but cryptocurrency, I feel like is a lot, not safer, but like, I feel like there's more upside potential than investing in the Reddit stocks, Wall Street bets. Nothing against them, but that's just
people have been saying that for years, which it still holds true. I mean, people saw what happened in like the last 2 weeks. Jordan, so the way I would look at it for you is almost kind of the way I'm looking at it, where anybody hearing this podcast and not really paying much attention to the stock market is hearing it. Like, what is the plan for somebody who's starting to look at it? How can I make money quickly? How do you plan on making money quickly, if possible at all?
For me, as like a inexperienced person on the market at the moment, I also I don't have unlimited funds. I'd like to say that I'm on the lower side of funds these days, but I don't think I'd put my money. I don't think I'd put my money into something that is shooting up because of Reddit. Just because one, the reasoning is not there for me. I don't know enough about it. Maybe with more research, who knows? But it does. I feel like from an outside point of view, it looks like things are coming to an end, in a way.
Yeah. As far as this trend goes, until the next stock kind of pops up. But I will say that if you have never invested before and you have a couple $100 throw around, they're just sitting in a savings account and you don't need that money for your rent, your food, your tuition, your books, whatever. I'd take a couple $100, download some trading platform like E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, stay away from Robinhood because they're just bad news these days, or even Coinbase. Put a little bit of that into cryptocurrency, read up on it, read up on some different stocks, invest what you think is good. There's tons of safe stocks out there, any type of ETF or the Apples, the Amazons, all that stuff. I think that the sooner you get into investing, the easier it obviously becomes, the more you know about it. And then that'll just set you up for the future. Because if you learn about investing in the beginning of college, like what we were doing, we kind of got a feel for it. I was scared to invest $50 into a stock. And now it's kind of all right, we put a couple hundred here, put a couple hundred there, maybe pushing 1,000 here. You just learn more and more and more, and you become more experienced. And then that's when I start my gains just start to they just skyrocket. However, since the new year, I'm up 50% of all the money I put in before that. And then last year I was only up 30%. So in 2 weeks, I've made more than I've made in an entire year.
There you go. It's better and better.
All right. Well, everybody, we will be back next week with a new episode, depending on how the stock market goes. Because if Nokia goes up or anything, I might just be quitting the whole college deal, move to Bermuda or something and never see anybody ever again. I'll have my own yacht. I'll be giving the suits a run for their money. Jordan and Joey are coming with. Maybe we'll make the podcast on a beach, at some point in the future. Who knows?
There you go.
Buy a beach.
That's what it's going to
be. To the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon.
All right. So thanks everybody for listening. That was the Lobby Podcast. We'll be having a new episode every week. Check out the Collegiate Review, Penn State Altoona. Show everybody else some love on there. Some great content coming out. Peace out.